Jackie Guys Bezos, the woman who raised Amazon's founder and whose life was a masterclass in resilience, passed away on August 14, 2025, at her home in Miami, Florida. She was 78, and she left this world surrounded by her closest circle, her children, grandchildren, and her husband, Miguel Mike Bezos. The cause was Lewy body dementia, a cruel, progressive disease she had battled for years. Her death was announced by Jeff in a heartfelt Instagram post that captured not just his grief but also his awe for the life she had lived. After a long fight with Lewy body dementia, she passed away today, surrounded by so many of us who loved her, her kids, grandkids, and my dad. He wrote, "I know she felt our love in those final moments. We were all so lucky to be in her life. I hold her safe in my heart forever." In those few sentences, he condensed a lifetime of love, struggle, and triumph, offering the world a glimpse of the woman who had been his fiercest advocate from the very start. Jackie's story, began on December 29th in Washington, D.C., where she was born to Lawrence Preston Guys and Maddie Louise Straight Guys. She grew up during a time when opportunities for women, especially young women, were far more limited than they are today. But even as a child, she displayed a streak of independence and a willingness to challenge expectations. That strength would prove essential when, as a high school senior in Albuquerque, New Mexico, she became pregnant. At just 17, she married Ted Jorgensen, and 2 weeks after her birthday, she gave birth to her first child, Jeffrey Preston Jorgensen. On January 12, 1964, it was not an easy beginning. The marriage ended in divorce by 1965, and Jackie suddenly found herself a single mother with no college degree, modest means, and a child to raise. Society in the mid-1960s did not make life easy for young single mothers. In fact, she was initially told she would not be allowed to graduate high school with her classmates. She fought for her right to finish her education. It's a small but significant battle that reflected the determination she would show throughout her life. In those early years, Jackie worked as a secretary, earning around $190 a month. In night classes, determined to improve her prospects, and often brought baby Jeff with her to lectures. It wasn't unusual to see her hauling 2 large duffel bags, one filled with textbooks, the other with diapers, toys, and snacks to keep her young son occupied while she studied. Friends and classmates remembered her as poised, composed, and fiercely protective of her boy, always balancing her responsibilities with an unshakable sense of purpose. A turning point came in 1968 when she met Miguel Mike Bezos, a Cuban immigrant who had fled his home country alone as a teenager. Mike and Jackie married that same year, and he adopted Jeff, giving him the last name that would later become one of the most recognized in the world. Together, they built a warm, stable home. In time, they welcomed 2 more children, Christina and Mark. Jackie's devotion to her family was boundless. She nurtured her children's curiosity, encouraged them to read, and taught them the value of perseverance. She also modeled a belief in lifelong learning. In her 40s, long after many parents might have set aside their personal ambitions, she returned to school to earn a degree from St. Elizabeth University. It was an example to her children that it's never too late to pursue knowledge or improve oneself. Her role in Jeff's rise to becoming the founder of Amazon is often mentioned as a footnote in business history. But for Jackie, it was a natural extension of her unwavering belief in her son. In 1995, when Jeff pitched the idea of an online bookstore, Jackie and Mike invested nearly $245,000, an enormous sum for them at the time. It was a leap of faith, not in a business plan alone, but in the young man she had raised. That investment would become one of the most lucrative in history, helping transform Amazon from a fledgling idea into a global empire. But Jackie's story cannot be reduced to her connection to Amazon. As her children grew, she became increasingly focused on using her resources and influence to help others. She co-founded the Bezos Family Foundation, a philanthropic organization dedicated to supporting education and childhood development. Under her guidance, the foundation launched programs like Vroom, which provides tools and resources to parents to support their children's brain development from birth to age 5. The foundation also created the Bezos Scholars Program, which brings together exceptional students from the United States and Africa. For leadership training and community-building projects, her philanthropic vision was expansive. The foundation contributed hundreds of millions of dollars to causes ranging from early childhood education to cancer research. Jackie was particularly passionate about supporting the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center in Seattle, helping to fund breakthrough immunotherapy treatments that have saved countless lives. She believed deeply in the idea that with the right support, children could reach their full potential, and that advancing medical science was an investment in the well-being of future generations. Friends and colleagues described Jackie as both fierce and warm. She had high expectations for herself and those around her. But she was also known for her generosity, humor, and ability to make people feel valued. She did not simply sign checks. She visited programs, met participants, and took a genuine interest in their successes and challenges. She was the kind of philanthropist who wanted to see and understand the impact of her work firsthand. In 2020, Jackie was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, a progressive neurological disease that affects memory, thinking, and movement. It was a difficult diagnosis for someone so vibrant and engaged with the world. But she faced it with characteristic courage. Lewy body dementia is the second most common form of dementia after Alzheimer's disease, and its symptoms can be especially challenging, including visual hallucinations, fluctuating alertness, and physical impairments. Despite the progression of the illness, Jackie continued to participate in the work of the foundation and remained a central figure in her family's life for as long as she was able. Jeff's tribute after her death reflected the deep connection they shared. He wrote about how her adulthood began earlier than most, how she raised him alone at 17, and how she embraced motherhood with ferocity. He credited her with making everything work despite the challenges and for bringing his stepfather into their lives, expanding the circle of people to love and protect. His words painted a picture of a woman whose capacity for love was inexhaustible, and whose dedication to her family was at the core of everything she did. Lauren Sanchez, Jeff's wife, also shared her grief, commenting publicly that Jackie would be deeply missed and sending her love to the family. Other friends and admirers echoed similar sentiments, remembering Jackie as someone who never accepted the status quo and who approached life with both determination and compassion. In the days following her death, her family encouraged those wishing to honor her memory, to donate to causes she cared about, or to perform acts of kindness in her name. It was a fitting tribute for a woman whose life was defined by service, generosity, and a belief in the power of community. Jackie's story resonates not only because of her connection to Jeff Bezos, but because it embodies themes that many people can relate to: overcoming hardship, balancing personal goals with family responsibilities, and using success to help others. She lived through eras of dramatic social and technological change, and she adapted to each new chapter with resilience. From a teenage mother in the 1960s to a philanthropist funding cutting-edge medical research in the 21st century, she never stopped evolving. Her life also challenges the notion that influence comes only from public recognition. Jackie rarely sought the spotlight, preferring instead to focus on her family and her philanthropic projects. Yet her influence has been vast, felt in the opportunities created for young scholars, in the medical breakthroughs she helped make possible, and in the example she set for her children and grandchildren. Jacqueline Guys Bezos is survived by her husband Mike, her children Jeff, Christina, and Mark, 11 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. Her passing leaves a void in the lives of those who knew and loved her, but her legacy is firmly etched into the fabric of her family and the many communities she touched. When Jeff wrote that he would hold her safe in his heart forever, it was not only the expression of a grieving son, but also an acknowledgement of the foundation she built for him and his siblings. She gave them not just love and care, but the confidence to pursue ambitious dreams and the moral compass to use their success for good. Her life story will be told and retold, not just as the background to a billionaire's rise, but as a testament to the idea that circumstances do not define destiny. With determination, love, and vision, A 17-year-old girl in Albuquerque became a woman whose influence reached around the world. She was a mother, a mentor, a philanthropist, and a quiet force for change. Jackie Bezos' legacy is not measured solely by wealth or achievements, but by the lives she shaped, the kindness she showed, and the belief she held that the future could always be made brighter through education, compassion, and courage. Her absence will be felt deeply, but the values she embodied will continue to guide those who follow in her footsteps. She leaves behind a world that is in no small part better because she was here.